Hi everyone, my name is Anita Twele, and today I'll be talking about my research on first impressions of older adult faces. In our past research, we've used very controlled stimuli where the faces have mutual expressions and uniform lighting, pose, etc. And we found that two dimensions, approachability and competence, underlie our first impressions of older adult faces. But using these controlled images doesn't really reflect how we see faces in everyday life. And so therefore, we're interested in whether these same two dimensions emerge when we use ambient or naturalistic images of older faces, where the faces can vary in many different ways, such as in emotional expression, background, etc. In experiment 1, we had 560 young adult participants, and they rated a set of 150 ambient older adult faces on 15 different trait words, plus the words approachable and competent. We then ran a PCA analysis on the average ratings for each trait. As you can see in the table here, most variables loaded very strongly on dimension 1. And to verify that this dimension is related to approachability, we correlated dimension scores with the average ratings of approachability that we had collected. And this correlation was significant at 0.907. However, when we look at dimension 2, only 2 variables loaded uniquely. And for this dimension, we also correlated dimension scores with average ratings on competence and found that there was no significant relationship between dimension 2 and competence as there had been for controlled images. Therefore, it is likely that dimension 2 in this study was not meaningful since it is not stable. We wanted to examine these dimensions a bit further, so in experiment 2, we had a new set of young adult participants rate the same set of ambient faces on new words which encompassed important models of person perception, appearance cues, as well as emotions. These two heat maps on the screen here compare the two dimensions for controlled versus ambient images. If we look at the top two rows of each, we can see that dimension 1 is very similar across image type. However, when we look at dimension 2, we can see that there are quite a few significant differences between controlled and ambient images. So these data are consistent with evidence that the primary dimension underlying first impressions is valence, a dimension that holds across face categories as well as perceivers. However, the second dimension is more malleable, and past studies have shown that the second dimension varies with face category, which perhaps suggests a role for learning. Future directions include replication using a different set of face stimuli as well as natural language processing. Thank you for listening.